Peace, everyone. It's that time, and it's that time for another interview on Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. And we are going to get our guest on here. I hope you all have had a great day so far. I know we took a week off this past week for, I went on vacation. Yeah, believe that or not. Yes, I went to California, so we didn't do any interviews this past week, but we're getting started. So our guest speaker today, we have a great lineup of interviews this week. So as you join in, let us know where you're viewing us from. That's always great. Hello, come in and introduce yourself. Let us know that you are, homeschooling mama or daddy, and where you're homeschooling at. So let's go ahead and get this shared as our guest comes in today. So yeah, you all be sure that, Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling, we have our interviews throughout the week. And then we also have our podcasts interviews as well. Here she is. Here's our guest speaker on. And let's get her on here. Friends chat on your podcast where you view us from. And then also be sure to share. Be sure to hit the share button. Hit the share button and get the word out. Hi, Verleatha.
Hello.
Okay, so you're sideways. You're going to have to turn your camera upside. Yep,
there we go. There we go.
Yes. Here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and share. If you wanted to make some shares as well, that'd be great. We'll take a quick moment to do that.
Okay. See if I can share this.
All right. And so, yeah, girlfriends, as you come in, let us know where you're viewing us from. All of you who are here supporting. Hi, Leanne. Good morning. Supporting Verleatha as she is going to be doing her interview today, sharing her voice, her story, her journey, her experiences, her wisdom. So you all want to be sure to get the word out on that too. So. All right, let me know when you're done, and we'll be all set.
Okay.
All right, let's try one more time.
Let's try and share this.
All right, girlfriends, introduce yourself as you come in. Let us know where you're viewing us from. We'd love to hear it. There we go. I don't know if that feedback is coming from me. Can you hear that feedback?
I hear nothing.
You don't hear anything? Okay, let's see if that's me or what. Hello, Bessa. Can you still hear me well?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I'll just turn that down, whatever that noise is. Okay. One more share and we'll be all set. I hope you're doing well, Lavessa. Good to see you this morning. Interesting. I never heard that sound before.
Wonder what you're hearing.
All right. Okay, I'm all set on my side. Let me know when you're ready and we'll get going.
I am ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. I am turned up for another interview today. Yes. We have our special guest today, Verleatha Byrd. She's going to be joining in and sharing her story and her journey and her why for homeschooling, all the nuggets and insights that there is to hear. So you all stay tuned. You all, I'm sure, going to want to hit the rewind button on this and listen to it again and again and again. So I'm excited just to hear and glean wisdom from this homeschooling mama. So let me just let you know what this is as we're popping up in your news feed. This is Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. I'm your host, Angela Jordan Perry. I'm a homeschool mom of 8 children, 3 of which we've graduated. Homeschooling now for 18 years. Married to my sweetheart now, be 26 years next month, July 11th. We'll celebrate 26 years. And we make our home in the northwestern part of the state of South Carolina, where we are small farmers. We are self-sustaining farmers. So in addition to that, I also serve the homeschooling community here in South Carolina, giving legal rights for homeschoolers to homeschool all over the state. So one of the options is to join an Option 3 association, and I am a director and owner of that. So my purpose-driven life is to make a positive impact on thousands of homeschoolers worldwide, and I do that in part here on Girlfriends' Guide. This platform is to give voice to the African homeschooling diaspora and those of the marginalized homeschooling community. So I do that. You will see interviews where they can see themselves sharing their journeys and their stories and their insights and nuggets as they have been homeschooling their children. So the idea is hashtag we homeschool too, and to give voice. So today I am pleased to give an opportunity for Verleatha Byrd to be with us today, to give voice to her homeschooling journey and some encouragement to you all who are considering homeschooling. You want to hear this, and those who are homeschooling, I'm sure you may be able to identify with some things that Verleatha will share and be able to glean and run with it. So without further ado, I have to ask the question, Verleatha, are you ready to make it happen?
Yes, I'm ready.
She is ready. All right, let me tell you about Verleatha. Verleatha Byrd is a homeschooling mom and wife. She wears many hats, as most do. She co-pastors the young adult group Catalyst 228 at the Praising Place Church of God. She's a wellness advocate with doTERRA and co-founder of the YouTube sensation For the Birds, and that's the number 4, For the Birds. An educator for over 18 years, Verleatha and her husband, Douglas, decided that homeschooling was the best fit for their family. Verleatha has a background in early childhood education and has done everything from teach preschool to run an after-school program and vacation Bible school. She preaches and teaches under the Church of God denomination and has been licensed to do so for 8 years. Now, as an entrepreneur, Verleatha has worked as a travel specialist and a beauty consultant. While each of these has been lucrative and served her well, she currently enjoys teaching people how to find natural solutions to physical ailments and weight management. She's passionate about helping her people learn and grow so that they can take their place alongside other successful cultures in the community. Verleatha is making her mark everywhere she goes and would love to help you leave yours as well. So Verleatha, I have just shared a little bit about you with the girlfriends and guy friends here. Please share more with us and tell us how you actually got started in homeschooling.
Okay, well, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and I was raised in the public school system there. And as I was put through that system, I could see as a student that it was broken. And then as well, I became an educator and saw it from that perspective as well and realized it was very broken. And so when we had our daughter in 2011, we knew that we didn't want to continue to keep her in a system that we knew was broken. And I consider myself one of the best people at what I do because I'm in my grace place when I teach. So for me, teaching is all that I am. I mean, it encompasses everything that I do. And so for me, I think that I'm the best person to do that for her. My husband and I, we work as a team. And so for us, it just was a no-brainer. We just had to do what we had to do, which was, teach her according to the way that we believe she should learn and the things that she should learn.
So what is your that's your reason for starting it? Do you have a why specifically that you can spell out and share with us about your homeschooling?
Um, there are several. Naturally, the way that they put pressure on the children these days to learn, it was too much, in my opinion. I did not want my daughter to have to conform to someone else's timeline. I feel like public schools and even private schools, there's no focus on the uniqueness of the child. And so I think that as a homeschooler in general, you take that into your own hands when you do that. I was not a fan of homeschool previously. I had to do a lot of searching. And, when you're trained a particular way, because I was trained as a public school teacher. And so when you're trained a particular way, you look for things to be a particular way. And so we looked at students who were homeschooled as they had a lack of socialization. And so that was huge for us. Like, we don't want a child who's weird and crazy. You know what I'm saying? That whole system, we were taught that way. And so I had to do my own research, and I had to figure out what that meant, what homeschooling would mean for my family. And so being able to take and point her in the direction of biblical studies, to be able to point her in the direction of, if she's great at math, then I can continue to make her great at math and continue to allow her to grow in those things that she's good at and not have to hold her back. And so that's my why. I really want to make sure that she gets the individual attention that she deserves.
That's good. And I'm going to tell you, that's beautiful to hear. One, the confidence of saying, you know what, I feel like there's no one better that could teach my child than me. I can get the job done just as well as anyone else. And so that is great confidence. Was that because you've had that background of teaching, or is that just your personality, or you're like, it don't matter because I'm going to get this done? I mean, what helped you to have that mindset?
Nature and nurture. It's partly because it's in my nature to do so, but the other part was my mom. As a kid, she had a daycare in my home, and so I got to see what education looked like from so many different vantage points. And so I was allowed to participate in that learning that she had to do. And so, that kind of started my foundation for education. And so it just kind of spiraled from there. So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm very well equipped to do so. Yeah.
I love it. Because I mean, the reason why I point that out is because a lot of people who are considering homeschooling, particularly those of the African homeschooling diaspora, they often, have that feeling that I can't do, someone else must do, I'm not equipped to do. Do you feel like your background in teaching helped, or this is one of my favorite questions, do you feel like it was a help or a hindrance to getting started in homeschooling?
Oh my goodness. Both, actually. And like I said, it's an individual thing. For me, you have to really know yourself. I was so hard on myself because I did not want my child to seem different. I didn't want her to have those stereotypes that they have for homeschoolers. I didn't want you to be able to look at her and say, yeah, she definitely has never in a school anywhere. But I also wanted her to be different enough where you could say, she has it together, and I want her to shine in that way. So, being an educator, I was trained a particular way, and I had to completely, completely change that. Even the classical style of teaching, I had to completely change it.
Yes, yes. I've heard that over and over and over again. Just wonder if I would hear it again from you that, I mean, while that information was great, but you really have to come out of that mindset of schooling and what you're taught to do in public school and really cater and design what it looks like for your family. So Verleatha, how long have you been homeschooling, and what's the age of your daughter?
I've been homeschooling for 2 years. My daughter is 6. She'll be 7 in October. And it's been quite a journey.
All right, so great segue. Tell us your journey. How was it when you first got started in your homeschooling journey 2 years ago? How was it?
Oh goodness, I'm very OCD about things, and so everything has to be perfect for me to start it. And so I had schedule, I had everything that she was going to learn through the day. Everything was just so organized and perfect. And sickness hit my body, and I couldn't be perfect.
Mm.
And it just was like, okay, either I'm going to have to send her to public school, or I'm going to have to find a way, make a way. And since I'm not a quitter, I had to find a way, make a way. So we had to change schedules. We had to learn how to school from the bed, just make things happen the way that we needed to make them happen to make sure she got what she needed. And then I had to understand that everything didn't have to happen every single day. As long as she was getting the basics, she was fine. And so I had to learn how to be flexible and pivot.
Mm. So you actually, how long did you homeschool in the sickness period?
Maybe about 6 months of and up and down.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. So you felt like it was, although it was a little bumpy because of the sickness, but did you feel like you got the groove of making it happen even through the sickness and the imperfection and doing it from the bed and
Yeah, and I mean, of course, like I said, I'm OCD about everything. So I was like, okay, how can I do this? How can I change things to make it work? But ultimately, I just had to make sure she was okay enough to do what she needed to do. And fortunately, it was like kindergarten, So,
yeah.
I had flexibility to use outside resources. I prefer to do the teaching myself because I like to tailor things to her.
Hmm.
Um, but when I could not do that, it was a little easier to outsource.
Gotcha, gotcha. So what is your daily habits in your homeschooling with your daughter?
Um, well, first of all, she's one that's very hard to get out of the bed. So we have a little routine where we do a little dancing in the morning to get her at it. And so we do our singing, we do our little dance and worship time, and we have that time first. And so then she's able to do her devotion and get up and get her day started. Because she's younger and my background is early childhood education, we do a lot of singing, and we did a lot of hands-on type activities. And so that really gets her going. And then breakfast time, and then we hit the books. So after that is the structured stuff. So your math, your reading, those things. And so, she was able to adapt to that pretty easily.
Good deal, good deal. All right, so here's another one of my favorite questions. Take us to the worst day of your homeschooling these 2 years, Verleatha. A day where you really almost considered quitting. You were ready. You was like, I'm done. I am over this. I'm putting her back in school. I know we're only in kindergarten, first grade, maybe second grade. I'm done. But you didn't quit, and this is why you're this, determined homeschool mom that you are today. But take us to that day.
Um, I had been sick, and we had missed about 3 weeks of school, of the structured stuff. And I was feeling super emotional at the time. And she's one of those kids that she likes to be in your face. If you leave her to do it alone, she's not going to get it done. She'll find something else to do. And so I was giving her activities to do, and she wasn't getting them done. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with this child, because I cannot get her to do what I need her to do without sitting here with her. And frustration hit me like, I mean, you wouldn't believe. I was just absolutely frustrated and at my wits' end about what to do with her. And I came across this creed, so to speak, and it was rules for being a homeschool mom.
Hmm.
And one of the things that it said was homeschooling is about home. And just because you're not teaching the ABCs right now does not mean that she's not learning. And you can teach her math through cooking. You can teach her reading through reading a recipe, through reading the Bible, through everyday things that you do. And so it kind of pulled that OCD out of me
Mm.
and made me realize that I could relax in what I was doing, and I could trust my instincts, and that God won't give you more than you can bear. And so I could bear this. And so that kind of shook me loose. And I had to realize, everything doesn't have to be perfect. And homeschooling is about home, and schooling is about learning. And she's going to learn regardless, whatever we're trying to teach her. So that was really a light bulb for me. And it kind of set me free, so to speak. Gave
Beautiful.
me that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's very freeing to have that mindset and to because honestly, I mean for most of us, we are products of public school, and public school is task oriented and goal oriented, specific things to get done. And so when you're talking about stepping out of that and talking about what you're doing or unschooling, that's foreign to our makeup, DNA makeup as far as academics. So kudos to you because that's very freeing, very freeing. So take us to your most memorable day of homeschooling, your most proudest moment of homeschooling that just maybe brought you to tears, and you're like, "This is why we are doing what we're doing right here. This is worth it." Take us to that day.
Actually, that was recently. We were rounding out the school year, and it wasn't perfect. Far from it. We got behind a couple times with just life, just activities, just things going on. And people tend to think because you're home that you're doing nothing, that you have free time all the time. And I'm just one of those busybody kind of people, so I'm never just home doing nothing. And so I was contemplating, what's next, how next year will look. And I had to give my daughter a test that I just didn't feel like she was ready for it. And it was my first time really testing her because she's going into this year where she's got to be standardized, testing standardized for the state. And so I was really, really nervous about how she was going to handle having to be tested and having to be so structured for a period of time. And she showed up and she stepped up and she did everything she needed to do. And she proved that, just because, things aren't perfect all the time doesn't mean I'm not paying attention. And so she hit that thing with flying colors, and I could not have been more proud. And I said, this is working.
Wow.
No, I don't have to worry about whether or not she's going to get it because, we have time to be able to figure that out. And that's a freedom from homeschooling that you can pick and choose, and you can tailor it to. And that's something I always had a problem with as a teacher, is that we could not tailor it to each child. And being able to tailor it to her, and if she's lacking in something or slower in something, I can take my time and relax with it, and not put that pressure on her to be able to do and succeed at a particular thing. And so that really, sealed the deal for me. And I said, you know what, we're going to go straight through. We're going to continue this on and be able to make it work.
Good deal. Good deal. So tell me this, with all of that in mind, you're, taking the tests and the standardized tests and all that, and homeschooling and lack of socialization, all that. Now that you've been in it 2 years, do you feel like that you have a weird child, like what you described at the beginning?
And I'll tell you, she's even more social than we are. We just launched our YouTube channel for the Byrds, and she is like the main one. She's like, how many subscribers do we have? Did we have any viewers today? She's just like on it. Her socialization, and she's at church a lot. She's a church baby. She was born into that church atmosphere to where everybody's her friend, everybody loves her, that kind of thing. And so she's just willing to walk up to anybody. She does not meet a stranger. And so that's not a problem. And she's not a weird child. She's just super compassionate and loving and all of those things. And I had to realize that, part of that is nature, and part of that is her parents just really trying to make sure that she gets what she needs, and we sometimes, when we put our kids in public school, we kind of leave everything to the teachers. We leave everything to the people that are taking care of them during the day. And we forget that, learning starts at home, and your child's personality reflects what you do at home. And so we're really, really adamant about making sure that whatever we see, in her personality, if we need to try to, talk her through things and coach her through things, we need to do that. And that's our job. And so no matter where she is, no matter what kind of school she's in, she's going to be fine, because that's just the kind of people we are.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. Girlfriends, listen, thanks for joining in. This is Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry, and we have Verleatha Byrd out of North Carolina with us today. You're really close, Verleatha. When I saw that, I said, "Oh, she's right, my neighbor in North Carolina." So, you all, this is a homeschooling mom now of, I guess you would say 3 years, 3 years, coming up on 3 years. Her daughter is soon to be 7 years old, and she is in the thick of it and just has decided that they're going through the end. So she is sharing some nuggets for many of you who are considering homeschooling. You need to hear what she's saying. A lot of insights that it makes my heart happy to hear a young a younger, what's the word? I'm not saying, well, someone who's just getting started homeschooling has already figured out these things, flexibility, giving yourself grace, tailoring your schooling, get rid of the OCD. You got to kill that thing in homeschooling. It will drive you crazy, if you try and hold on to that nature in homeschool. But so Verleatha, this is the part of the show where we, I ask some questions just to pick your brain. You can give some quick answers and insights regarding these questions. So you all who are watching, please hit the share button. You just never know who is considering homeschooling or who is already homeschooling and just needs some encouragement and some insights for this journey. So hit the share button. It'll be right on your bottom. I guess it's right to your left. Hit the share button and get it out to your Facebook page. All right. So Verleatha, what is your favorite quote that helps you through this homeschooling journey?
Imperfect action is greater than perfect procrastination.
Oh, I like that. Imperfect action is greater than perfect procrastination. Okay, you got to tell us, break that down to us. But how does that relate to your day schooling, your day-to-day homeschooling?
Home is home. Things happen. You get a phone call, or something happens to throw your day off, and so like I said, I had to get rid of that OCD mentality. I had to understand that things happen. You have to know how to pivot. You have to know how to do things, and so it doesn't mean that schooling doesn't happen today. It just means that schooling is changed for the day, and we have to be able to adjust. So perfectly running a day or just not doing it, not doing it's not an option. It has to get done. So just that imperfect action.
Beautiful. Do you plan to homeschool all the way to the end?
I do.
What is something that you all in the Byrd family that you all do in your homeschool that, this is what makes the Byrd homeschool what it is? Share it. What is that unique thing you all have or do?
We have fun. We believe that, it does not have to be completely rigid. And there's something to this whole family thing. I think that God blessed families. I think that was his job. His goal was to have families to be able to prosper. And so we do everything together. We enjoy being together. And so we try to, do one thing that somebody likes, once a day. We try to, incorporate something. So daddy's involved. So mommy's involved. So the daughter's involved. So that, she gets to pick some things. And so I think that provides the variety, and it allows us to be able to have a little freedom. And it makes it not so schooly, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily totally unschooling, but just having that flexibility to be able to have a good time, because you don't want them to hate school. I know too many children who hate school, and it's because of they're not allowed to be unique and have some fun and enjoy their day. Who wants to have a stinky, rotten day every day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell us something that's in your home library, a book or a resource that helped you get started at homeschooling or to homeschool that you feel like every homeschool should have in their home library.
The Bible. The Bible has kept us on the straight and narrow, and it kind of gives you perspective. A lot of times, we run through so many things in life, and sometimes you get depressed, sometimes you're feeling some kind of way about stuff, And what really shakes you loose is, getting in, for us in our faith, it's really getting in our word and really studying and realizing that, things happen and, you know, life changes and there are challenges, that you face every day. And, that's where we get our hope. That's where we get our strength. And that's what we draw on. So that's absolutely our number one go-to.
Beautiful. What is the best piece of advice you have received in this homeschooling journey?
That I'm still a wife and mother. I can't be in teacher mode always. And that was a struggle for me because I wanted to make sure you can't tell that she's not, in a regular school, that she's not schooled by professionals. I wanted to make sure I am a professional, I wanted to make sure that she was, top notch, everything. And so realizing that you're a mother first, you're a wife first. And sometimes you have to put down that homeschool hat and pick up wife hat, pick up mother hat so that your family is functioning, and so that's what was that really brought me, to a good place.
Gotcha. Is there a favorite resource or online platform or app or something that you have found that you would like to recommend to our girlfriends?
Well, I've used many things over the years, and because she's younger, I've used a lot of things that use playing as learning. Like I used abcmouse.com a lot. I loved that for her when she was first starting out. But now that she's getting older, we're more a Charlotte Mason style, and so simplycharlottemason.com has really helped us to kind of focus on the whole child, being able to focus on, not just academics, but arts and crafts and things like that, music, understanding and enjoying music, listening for the fact of listening for pleasure, to different things and being able to expose her to different things. So I've really loved that as a resource, simplycharlottemason.com. Yeah.
Beautiful. Got it. All right, Verleatha, we're on the last question, the $1 million question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Well, if you had to start all over again from the beginning, day number 1 of your homeschooling journey, what would be the first thing you'd be sure? Well, let me go back. You would have your same wisdom, knowledge, skills, insights, convictions. So what would be the first thing you'd be sure to implement in your homeschooling this time around, or make sure you don't implement, take away something?
The strict scheduling. I definitely take away that rigid schedule. I mean, that was the only way I knew how to function because I was, school taught, and having to take that away has been so freeing for us, so I would get rid of the schedule.
And anything you would
So,
be sure to implement?
um, well, like I said, I had to learn how to have fun. We learned how to have a good time in homeschooling and learn that home is about home. Homeschooling's about home. And so we have to understand that, it's not school and it has to be what it looks like. It is what it is. So, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Verleatha. Listen, any last words of advice you want to give our girlfriends? Let us know how they can contact you if they like to continue the conversation. And then let us know, what you have your hands involved in that you would like us to rally with you as part of your village.
Okay. So what I would say to anyone who's gonna start homeschooling is know yourself and be flexible enough to know what you can handle and what you can't. And plan for the best. Be ready for the worst, but plan for the best. Expect that everything's gonna work out no matter what, because you got this. There's an innate ability. Not in history, schooling wasn't what it is today. It was homeschoolers majority of the time. Most kids were taught at home, or apprenticed, so it's totally perfectly normal not to have to go in public school system. And you don't have to do that if you don't want to. If that's okay with you, then, do what you need to do, what's right for your family. How you can see me, we're For the Birds on Facebook, FOR the Birds underscore family on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So you can find us there. I'm Verleatha Byrd on Facebook as well. And my hands are in some of everything right now. Ministry is growing. We're young adult pastors at our church, so we have Catalyst 228, and we believe that young people are they're our future. We have to pour into them. We have to make sure that they are okay enough to take the reins from us when it's time. And so that is where we are focused. We want to make sure that we are catering to them because, if we don't pay attention, there's a disconnect. We pay attention to them when they're really young, and we pay attention to them when they're really old. But we miss the growing up years. We miss that adult time, that young adult time when they're really formulating who they're going to be, and really want to make sure that we hit that and really support them because they have to know who they are, and they're struggling with that right now. So that's something that we are big on right now. My husband and I, we're really pushing for that ministry.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, girlfriends, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And this hour you've been hanging out with Verleatha Byrd out of North Carolina. So you all keep up the momentum and keep connecting with positive influences who's going to positively influence your journey. So of Verleatha Byrd here, she is episode number 88 an interview. So you have that many more to go listen to, connect to these interviews that we have done, and connect with positive sister circles who's going to encourage you on your journey. And then you be that positive resource that others can draw from as well. Okay. So Verleatha, thank you so much for taking up your time to share of your wisdom, your nuggets, your insights, your journey, your voice in this homeschooling journey, and just being very transparent. Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling, we appreciate you, and thank you for just being a part of this village in this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. All right, well, girlfriends, thank you for joining in today. And I want you to remember this as always. Remember that to teach a child is to touch a life. Just like Verleatha said, we're touching lives here. We need to be very focused and diligent about that all the way through their journey. But to teach a child is to touch a life. And as we homeschool, we not only touch a life, we shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. So keep making that positive impact day after day, year after year. Give yourself grace. Squash any OCD, like Verleatha said, and realize that home is what you make it. And homeschooling in your home, you get to tailor that and make it look like exactly what you desire for it to be. So you all keep moving forward. Connect with me. Ask questions. Send me some questions if you like, and private messages. I'd be happy to answer any other questions. I also connect with Verleatha as a homeschooling mom herself of these 2-3 years, and her 7-year-old daughter. Get some answers and get going. Let's educate our own, okay? So look for that platform coming up as well. Girlfriends Got Homeschooling, but now also have Educating Our Own, which is going to be a platform from A to Z that's going to support you, affirm you, and help you in your homeschooling journey. So look us up on Facebook and connect, and our website will be coming out soon, and we're going to get you all ready. If you want to jump into homeschooling, like Verleatha said, then just do it. You have the innate ability to do it, okay? All right, so until next time, thank you all. You all have a blessed day. Peace to everyone. Verleatha will be in contact. So next is her podcast interview. So you all going to want to hear that, okay? Take care. Peace, everybody.